Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone's Record Service Betsy Shaw Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the West Greene Lady Buffaloes basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Betsy Shaw. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. For the second week in a row, we'll jump right into it. We get to talk about a long, winless drought against a team being snapped. You beat Hampton last night, first time since that 04-05 season when you would also beat South Greene. So a 20-year winless drought against Hampton, picked up a big 45-33 win over them last night. Not only did it snap that winless drought, but it's also a big district win that helps you move to 3-2 for a three-way tie for second place now, trailing Chucky Doak. So jumping right into it, I know I talked to you after the game last night, but talking to you again about it, now that you've had a night to sleep on it, how good does that win feel?
It feels good. I thought we were a lot more consistent. I know I said that to you last night, but we have not been consistent. I mean, it just depends on the quarter, it depends on the game, how we are, and so, I thought we played for 4 quarters last night, and we did a lot of pressing and it worked well. I subbed several people in, and they were prepared to contribute, and then we had Morgan and Joey in the back who, they're our leaders. They do a great job to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. So it was a good win, and it's a good conference win. So
talking about that press, I know it's kind of going to be the same interview that we had last night, but you jump out to a 13-3 lead at the end of the first quarter. It seemed like you had put a lid on their rim, and they couldn't hit any shots. They had a three-pointer, I think, that cut it to 6-3 early on in the game, and then you scored 7 straight to end the quarter. You come out in the second, and you start pressing them, which is usually what they do to opposing teams. They put the pressure on you. You kind of flipped it on them this time. You decided to come out in the second quarter with a press defense that forced not necessarily a lot of turnovers, but forced a lot of bad decisions and quick shots on their part that you were able to capitalize on and then turn it into points on the other end for you. So what went into your decision-making to decide to press starting the second quarter?
I decided after the North Greene game we've got to start pressing. I thought our press looked, we did it against North Greene that last little bit. I should have pressed sooner. I told you off camera, but I know we're talking about Hampton, but I've seen North Greene play, and they never typically turn it over in the press, so that's why we didn't. But should have pressed sooner, and I didn't want to think, well, what if we would have pressed them?
Yeah.
I mean, the worst that happens, they beat it and we get out of it. So, and I didn't want to wait till the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's too late. So we tried to do it. We did it the first half, first half. And we had top girl. We started at the top of the press. We started with Peyton, and then Sarah was the other one that rotated in. They did a really good job of applying pressure. And then that second line, we had Emily and Neva and Mallory all subbed in there at that second line, and they all do a little something different with their traps. So it's a little harder to predict what's going to happen. So they did a good job too. And then the back two was typically Morgan and Joey. So just working together and doing it. So. I mean, what worse could happen? It didn't work, so I thought we better try something different. So
talking about Morgan and Joey too, what a game both had last night. I know we didn't have the exact stats last night. I know we probably don't have the exact stats now, and I'm sure that you'll find them out sooner than later. I'm very eager to see their stat lines because they were filling the stat sheets last night. Scoring, It was there. Morgan had, I believe, 16. Joey had 14, which accounted for 2/3 of your scoring.
It's good.
Joey had to have had a double-double. If she didn't, I was very surprised. A lot of blocks down low, too. I know we had talked about it off camera or off record, and she would lay off of their post. They would get the ball, and then she would meet them there and then come up with a block. Morgan had a few steals, not only in that press, but after they would get the rebounds and try to force it forward, she would be there to shoot the gaps and steal the ball back. A lot of different things they were both doing, a lot of passing, a lot of assists. So talk about everything that they did last night that culminated in the win.
They did about everything.
They truly did, yeah.
They did.
Except turn it over, and that's the great part about it. They did everything they were supposed to last night.
Even at the end, we tried to get it in, one of their hands, either Joey or Morgan. Emily is up on the stall, but, just to keep it in their hands. They're calm. They pressed us the entire night. And Joey or Morgan or Emily or Peyton was one of the 3 up top the whole night. And so, it's not just they do all the stuff and all the stats. It's just, the team depends on them both so much.
Yeah.
Morgan's very, very vocal, and she does a great job being our leader out there. And Joey's trying to do better about being vocal. I've watched the game twice now, the Hampton game, just seeing what we could do better. And a lot of times Joey was, directing in the 2-3, so that's improvement. Just their teammates really depend on them out there. And you mentioned those two, and they do most, a lot, but they had a lot of good supporting roles, or I don't know the correct term, but like the teammates.
The supporting cast.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to go into next, is not only those two, but you talked about it last night with me where you ran that press a lot. You had to sub a lot more. So you had a lot more players and a lot of depth going there, where I think you played 8 players last night.
That's more than I normally. I normally play like 6.
Yeah.
And they, Morgan and Joey can't do it alone. If Peyton doesn't do all she does, and Emily and Neva, Sarah, and Mallory, all those played. If they don't do what they do, we don't win. No matter how well those two play, other people have to do, fulfill their role in their team, and whatever their role. They all have very different roles on the team, but they have to, like, it's a team thing. I said it's a team win. It is, but you have to have the, like Morgan and Joey, like, have really good games, but everyone has to be contributing and doing what they need to do for us to win. So it's a team,
And the Hampton win too. Going back, you had the Chucky Doak loss that we can go back and touch on the Chucky Doak North Greene games, just talk about some of the things you learned. But feeding into still being on the topic of a district game with Hampton, you had the Chucky Doak loss, and your conference record now is 3-2 halfway through the conference slate. I think I'd asked you last week how you felt at the moment. With the win over Hampton now, knowing that halfway through these conference games, you're 3-2, sitting at a 3-way tie in second place with some important games coming up that you'll have at home. How confident do you feel at the moment, sitting at 3-2, tied for second?
We're thinking big, but we are focusing on small.
Okay.
We really are. It's good to say, like you said, we talked about it last week, but we are, you want to think big picture. Where are you? If this person wins, we're focusing on small. Today, turnovers. What are we doing? Why aren't, like, boxing out still? We're thinking small details because we got to continue to focus on that. No, we are thinking big. I don't want to, think,
Obviously, you have a championship on your mind, yeah.
But we've got to continue to focus on the details. We're not getting away from that, because when we get away from that, we're going to be in trouble. So we're going to continue to try to improve on that. We play. Well, I'll wait on Happy Valley, but the upcoming games and the previous games, it's what details could we have done better? All of us included. So that's kind of our mindset going forward.
And then going back to the Chucky Doak and North Greene games, both single-digit point losses. Chucky Doak was a 6-point loss, and then North Greene was an 8-point loss. The Chucky Doak game, I know that we spoke at the North Greene game. You weren't particularly happy in the performance in that game, and then North Greene, completely different performance. Even though the North Greene loss was by a larger margin, you played really well against that North Greene team. You kind of alluded to it in the Hampton recap, where that was where you kind of learned to press in that game. So talk about the adjustments that you've made and what you've learned from those Chucky Doak North Greene games that you're taking forward with you.
The Chucky Doak game, the first half, we had a very hard time doing anything. I don't know what happened to us. That's, I've been talking about consistency to you. We didn't have any type of consistency. It was awful. We were down a ton of points at halftime. And, a lot of coaches make adjustments at halftime in terms of, defense, offense. It was beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, we had to fix some ability and effort stuff that we had to fix, and just little things like that at halftime. And they come out in the second half and played really hard. But, we tied it up at one point, but we did not need to put ourselves in a position like that to have to fight back. I mean, they fought back, but those that out there stayed out there the whole time, and that's tough too. But we had a good half. That's all you could say about that. The first half was awful. And then the North Greene game, I thought they played a lot better, like in terms of all 4 quarters. It wasn't enough to win, but we played a lot better. So
the press, you talked about it, how you learned to kind of use the press in that fourth quarter. Is that something that you think you'll take forward, seeing how well they were able to execute it against North Greene and Hampton? And do you think that press will benefit you going forward? Even back to the South Greene game, you talked about how you used the press in that one. Was the South Greene game kind of the moment that you learned that you needed to use the press more, and that's what kind of gave you the idea to use it in the North Greene and Hampton games?
We have been in practice. We've worked on it. there's been a lot of players developing further in it and further in our offense and defense to play so we can sub more. And so we've gotten more players that's coming along in terms of what we need from them. And so they're able to go into games so then we can press more.
Okay.
And I've talked to several of the players and we've talked about, different things of what we're doing. And so yes and no, but yeah, okay. I guess so.
I get that. It can be a yes and no.
Yeah.
Sometimes an answer to a question can be both. Yeah. And then going forward now, of course, we'll take a break in just a moment, but you've got Happy Valley and Johnson County coming up. 2 more important district games. So before we get into that, we'll take a break first, and we'll be right back in just a second here on Grassroots Media.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference. At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
At Terry's Flooring, we have quality products along with quality installers that can make your space look better than ever before. The craftsmanship that our installers bring to the job site is unmatched. Along with the great installers, we have a huge selection of hardwood, LVP, tile, and carpet. We know that spending money isn't that easy, but at Terry's Flooring, we care about your money too. Stop on in and see my Popsy at Terry's Flooring and allow him to save you money while enjoying the hassle-free experience.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone's Record Service Betsy Shaw Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything on the court with the West Greene Lady Buffaloes basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Betsy Shaw. So you've got, I believe, 2 road games coming up now. Mm-hmm. You've got Happy Valley on Friday, Johnson County on Tuesday. 2 teams that you played so far, of course, we're halfway through, so you played each team one time. Got a win over Happy Valley the first time and had a loss to Johnson County the first time. Looking to improve and go with 2 wins this week against Happy Valley and Johnson County to strengthen your case to potentially be number 1 in the district at the end of the year. You played them one time. Of course, you're going to make adjustments going into both of these games. How do you plan on executing against Happy Valley and Johnson County?
We're going to go similar to what we did against Happy Valley last time.
Okay.
Same kind of things that we tried to do. We're going to do that again. And then at Johnson County, we are going to make free throws. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make free throws. Because, there's going to be a couple other adjustments that we're going to make. But I think we missed, it was 12 free throws the last 2 minutes last time we played them. So we're going to make sure we're prepared to make free throws. But it's hard to play, I know, at Johnson County. But we don't always play well at home either. So, we played Hampton well last night here. But, we've been one of our better games was at South Greene at North Greene, And so we don't always just play well at home. So I don't think, maybe they have more of an advantage because we're driving the 2 hours. But I don't think it bothers them that bad to get on a bus or get in a car and go play somebody. So we're going to make our free throws.
Not discrediting Happy Valley, but, yeah, you look at that Johnson County game, there's a lot of different things that kind of factor into that. Of course, it's a 2-hour bus ride. It seems like they do play better at home, but it seems like you do play better on the road. It seems like you played like the better team the first time. It just wasn't the case with the final score with them coming out on top because of the missed free throws and such. So do you feel like if you execute some of those same game plans from the first game, do you feel like it can result in a win this time?
Well, yeah. If I didn't, I'd do something different. Yeah, I think it will. And we'll have to watch the film. I haven't watched the film yet. I watched Happy Valley today, but I haven't watched the Johnson County film. But we'll have to make some other adjustments too. Like that, we're not just relying on making free throws, but we didn't have a very good shooting not that either. So maybe talking about shot selection, because you can say make shots all you want, but shot selection, especially on the road, and rebounding is even more important when you go on the road. Rebounding should travel. Shots may or may not, but rebounding should travel. So we're going to have to continue to focus on that too.
Johnson County is always that outlier game too during the season when you have to go up there because the long bus ride. That both teams, boys and girls, always play better at home. Weird things always happen at Johnson County, it seems. Yeah. It's kind of like Hampton. Hampton, weird things are going to happen when you go there and play. Johnson County, it's weird things that you don't ever expect to happen. Too many cases over the years where I could bring up examples, but if you know, you know. But Johnson County on Tuesday, Happy Valley on Friday. Talking about Happy Valley too, of course, we look ahead and talk about Johnson County. Happy Valley is one of the games where you need to take care of business also. They may be, I believe, winless in the district as of right now through 5 games, but that's a team at this point. They could be looking at things, and their perspective can be, hey, we're winless. We can no longer win that district championship in the regular season, so let's go spoil a few team seasons. So they're that type of team where they may not have nothing to lose at this point. So does that worry you anything, knowing that you're going to play a team at their home gym, knowing that they have nothing to lose and their backs really aren't against the wall?
You said that, but I don't feel like there's a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't anticipate many people expected us to win some of the games we've won. We're just going to play and getting better. Every practice, every game, trying to get better. So yes, you always want to be prepared to play on the road, and you don't ever want to look over a team, but it's not like, man, you've got all these expectations. Mm-hmm. There is in the locker room, and from me, there's high expectations. They believe in it, but like in terms of a bunch of pressure that we're trying to worrying about staying here or being here. We're just trying to get better and keep playing basketball. So.
And then you've got that opportunity on Friday and Tuesday, both on the road. It'll be a little bit before you come back home again, but until then, hoping to sit down and talk about 2 more wins and talk about potentially you being 5-2 with 3 games left and the opportunity to maybe win the district championship because the season flies by fast. Right now, we're talking about being halfway through the season. The next time we sit down and talk, we could be talking about what seed you could potentially be in the tournament. So it's winding down fast. 5 games through the conference season now. We'll be 7 games through the next time. But until then, thank you for sitting down with me once again. Said it at the end of last week's show. Congratulations on beating Hampton this time. Snapped a 20-year winless streak against them. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Malone Trekker Service Betsy Shaw Show, presented by Critters Corner. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.